Ricky, what's your topic today?
So I did a festival this week, and I saw a very underrated band called the Raytones. I wanted to talk about underrated music. A lot of the stuff we talk about on the show is very AAA, very mainstream, because we need to talk about stuff that people.
Activision, EA, bro.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
But I wanted us
Blink
to.
182.
But yeah,
A
we talk
large
about.
sandwich.
We talk a lot about the popular bands that we listen to, but
Doctors blowing into dicks.
but we do listen to a lot of non-mainstream, sometimes underground.
Like the Velvet Underground.
Eggs.
Eggs! Nico, suck my dick.
So yeah, I wanted to talk about underrated bands and artists that we listen to that we really, really like.
And give some love to them.
Yeah.
Like a Dr. Blow.
Like one of yours just came out with a song, you said?
Oh, yeah. Aaron West and the Roaring 20s. I don't know if it's underrated. I think he has a good level of fan base.
I think it's underrated in the sense of how many people dislike the genre.
Of like, because Aaron West is a weird thing. If you don't know, Aaron West and the Roaring 20s is like basically just one guy. It's Dan
like
Campbell. And he's known for being from the Wonder Years, which is like a
pop punk
turned
post-hardcore.
Band. And they're one of the better quality pop punk bands.
Because they're actually like...
Because they actually like think about...
He's
telling us he's telling a story throughout his albums.
He's talented songwriter.
When other pop punk bands are just like every song is just like them trying to get a hit onto like the radio.
Yeah.
So
Everything else is you're gonna mosh to this at Warped.
exactly. So but he also has the side project Aaron West and the Roaring 20s, and that's not pop punk whatsoever. It's sort of
60s folk.
It's 60s folk definitely, and that's but I think there's still like a good sized.
I think it's less of like that band, but more him. Like if he like this kind of project was kind of like the point where I was just like him out of like
Wonder
the pop
Years.
Punk genre. Like he can do so much more because of how
I will
much
give you
of a
that. I
talent
think Dan Campbell is definitely someone who should be paid attention to.
Like don't get me wrong, like I like listening to the Wonder Years.
I think if you get him a really good production team, I think he could make a really, really good solo album. Not Aaron West, not Wonder Years, just like Dan Campbell first.
Like free writing, like whatever, not limiting himself. He can do so much more. I think that is a very big one. Super, super underrated. Like can't really have a lot of conversations about him or Wonder Years with a lot of people because of the genre and what people look at the genre for. I love Mars Volta.
Oh yeah.
But I love At the Drive-In. At the Drive-In, I think, is another band that gets a lot of hate.
Does it? I've never heard anyone say bad things about it.
I've never heard anybody say anything about it.
Obviously, you've never talked to Tony.
I found out about him freshman year at Lincoln, and everybody I knew disliked him, hated him, specifically for his voice, because it's
definitely like a voice that you have to get used to.
Yeah. But I think he's an amazingly talented songwriter. Also, Omar's guitarist is, I think, one of the most innovative guitarists, a modern guitarist. Amazing.
Listening to Mars Volta after you get an understanding of Latin jazz is an incredible experience.
Yeah. No, it really is. Especially when you compare kind of like the way that Cedric and Omar went, whereas the rest of At the Drive-In went, where like At the Drive-In broke up, and then it was like Mars Volta and Sparta, where Sparta was like very like Taking Back Sunday, like poppy kind of like sad teenager music.
Hey,
whereas Mars Volta,
Taking Back Sunday is a national treasure.
No,
Cage wants to steal it.
I still listen to Sparta, and I still listen to that. Taking Back Sunday, I really like that. But
I don't really listen to Taking Back Sunday anymore.
I was thinking
it'll pop up every once in a while.
I was thinking of Sunny Day Real Estate for the entire time you were saying that. Because they're better.
Right, yeah. But again, like kind of comparing like where Sparta went as to where the two guys, Cedric and Omar, went with Mars Volta, which is an incredible fucking band. And also they have a band now called Edamaske, I think is how you pronounce it. And
it's edamame.
And it's those two.
All
Travis
their songs
Barker's
are about peas.
Travis Barker's their drummer.
Travis Barker's doing too much shit.
Yeah, he's like their official drummer too. It wasn't even just for the tour. Like he's.
If you're a Blink-182 fan like me, and you're wondering why it's taking them so long to get this fucking album out,
because he's in Animasia right now.
Barker is doing everything.
It's because he's drumming for Flo Rida.
Seriously, like I see him on his Instagram. He's like everywhere all the time. I'm like, how are you even involved in this?
How do you get around that fast? I thought you were afraid of planes.
That was a good one. That was. I'll give you a high five for that.
I think another one for me, not more so now underrated than before, because there was a period of time where he was really big in the genre, but Mos Def. I have a completely other love for Mos Def when it comes to hip hop.
Yeah, I remember like when Black on Both Sides came out, he was like huge in like the alternative hip hop scene. But and then like that continued to like I remember people talking about the Elastic in 2006, and then like no one talked about him since. Like I think it was after Be Kind Rewind.
Like Mos Def's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think he's
he's the original Childish Gambino before Childish Gambino was
he really is. And I think that's why I have a
and then we won't let him into our fucking country anymore.
That's why I have a big soft spot for Donald Glover.
Yeah. Because he's doing what Mos Def was doing.
Like dead on, and it's great. Like I don't go into the genre much once you go past like early 2000s. I'm gonna be really
sad if our country somehow finds out a way to deport Donald Glover.
But yeah, I try not to go into the genre as much once you leave like early 2000s, late 90s.
Hip hop.
Yeah, but Mos Def was the one that like picked up the slack for everybody last second, and now no one talks about him anymore, and they like to throw around that Mos Def sold out and stuff because he started doing movies and stuff, but it's like you guys
just to act, man.
You gotta say Common sold out because he's in movies.
No, Common sold out because of his music.
Common just like sold out in general. Common's the Tyler Perry of musicians.
Is this about like Water to Chocolate? Because that album's perfection.
But no, I think people kind of try to throw shit to Mos Def for no reason. Where he's still like, I think he's a really cool guy. Do you have any other ones?
I've got
a few. You haven't said
I've got a few. So the first one, I got a couple serious ones, and then I've got one that I'm a little like joking about, but not really.
Incubus.
So the Hotelier.
Oh yeah.
Which
super good.
You, Henry, and our friend Cameron kept telling me to listen to that album, Home Like No Place Is There.
I remember I played you them, and you were just like, I hate his voice. And I was like, but really listen to it.
I think it was just like a wrong place, wrong time sort of thing, because I finally listened to that album. And before we did BCG, I would still do like my sort of albums of the year.
Yeah.
And for 2014, my album of the year was Aaron West and the Roaring 20s. And then
You're just still going on that.
And then I finally listened to Hotelier like a year later, and I loved it so much. I was like, fuck, if I had listened to this in time, this probably would have been my album of the year.
Right.
Home Like No Place Is There, amazing record, brings back that very distinct sort of two different things, like sort of like early 2000s emo, but also like in mid 90s REM. Like those two things mixed together, I think make like that's where they come from, and I think that's where they find a lot of their inspiration, and they do it really, really well. They have an album coming out in a couple months, I think, and it's like I'm more excited for that album than I am the Blink-182 album. So Hotelier, also Moose Blood, Canadian sort of emo band. They remind me a lot of.
They're perfect to listen to if you want to get a feel of high school. It's pretty much what
like they're just like a really good like angsty sort of band, and they do it well. That's the other thing is like we can make fun of angsty bands all the time,
and I do.
There are a lot that really suck, but there are some that do it really well. My Chemical Romance did it really well, and I think
they did it extremely well.
The first few Fall Out Boy records.
The first one did that well.
Take Us to Your Grave.
Yeah, the first one did that well. After that they sold out. Anyway, so Moose Blood, and then
the lead singer for Moose Blood wears Harringtons, and I like him.
Another one that I actually started listening to like for the first time in like 13 years is the New Pornographers.
Oh yeah, I love them.
Yeah, the new pornographers are fucking awesome.
I got into them because Nico Case is in there, and my dad loves Nico Case.
Yeah, so this was a band that my mom would listen to when the electric version came out. And I remember loving the song, The Laws Have Changed. And I recently got in the mood to listen to that album again. And I was listening
It's
to this.
really good indie pop.
Yeah, it's like, it's some of the best indie pop music I've personally listened to. So if you're trying to like dance like no one is watching, listen to that album, because I think that's a really good album to do that too. And then my sort of jokingly one, but not really, kind of, Kanye West. Underrated musician.
See, I'm gonna be honest. I kind of think he's underrated in some ways too, because people focus so much on the ego side of it.
Exactly.
Right. Okay,
Because the thing I want to say is, I think the life of Pablo, I have a whole article on this. If you're watching this on our website, I have an article on our website about how Life of Pablo was almost a perfect album, and it was because of album structure is where the album felt short. And the only way I listen to the Life of Pablo now is in that new rearranged order. And if you listen to that, it's like one of the most like perfect albums he's ever done. Because he weirdly tells a story. And I think when you can tell a story that's interesting in your album, you've done something that not a lot of people do anymore. And that's I like Tyler the Creator, and that's not a popular opinion because he throws around the word fag and all of this stuff. And of course, he also, sort of like Kanye West, he
uses dirty fuck words.
He uses a lot. He's got a big personality, and it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But
I respect him because he keeps it real.
But Goblin,
because he still says
is a
shit like
really
that.
good album because of the story that's being told throughout that album. So I do think Kanye, because a lot of people just look at his sort of egotistical bullshit. And it is bullshit, and I understand why people hate it, but you got to look at the man as a musician sometimes, and to be able to appreciate.
You got to look at him as a motherfucking genius.
Because people go into his music like just thinking about him as a personality, and then they go into it expecting to hate it and going and wanting to hate it, so they don't actually listen to what the music is about. So I will say Kanye West underrated.
Do you have any more?
Oh, I have a lot.
Okay.
I haven't said anything.
Yeah, go.
So I want
only a few minutes though. We gotta.
So I want to say like I'm excluding like bands that you could say are like underrated in the mainstream, but like they're really popular in like the group. So that would like I want to count like Front Bottoms, Andrew Jackson Jihad, Daniel Johnston, anyone like that.
Yeah, Front Bottoms are slowly picking up.
Yeah,
a lot.
Ever since they got picked up by Japan Droids.
Oh yeah, Japan Droids are fucking awesome.
But let's see, who do I got on here that I think here's one.
Alice in Chains is super underrated.
Are they?
Yeah.
Here's one that you'd argue with me on it, but I'm gonna argue that they are Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh yeah,
they're underrated.
Because
totally, for damn sure.
Because the thing with Bare Naked Ladies is everyone associates them with 1 week, and that's like their stupidest song.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you listen to them and you realize how good songwriters they are.
It's banned.
1 week since you looked at me. That song's a fucking treasure.
It is a treasure, like, because it's in the Digimon movie. And Digimon movie is an 8 out of 10. Perfect movie. So
it's like, hey,
my coke.
Wacky.
But then, like, let's see. I have a lot of music on my phone.
I know you. So, I don't even know how you carry all that music on your phone.
Another favorite of mine. Yeah. Another favorite of mine is this rapper Milo. Who
your little brother
comes in. Sup, son?
Let me talk to you about ear infections.
You want to hear my ear song? Bruh.
But he's this alternative rap hip hop artist who does these insanely like complex like rhyme schemes and lyrics like it's really crazy to listen to. Just listen to the lyrics and see like where he goes. He's really cool. There's this band I like called This Heat from the 80s who were like this post-punk band that was closer to like avant prog rock and krautrock.
Yeah.
They're really cool. Let's see. I have this art. I've been listening to Stephen Jesse Bernstein, who was this spoken word artist who was signed up to Sub Pop in the 90s before he killed himself.
Wow.
As people from Sub Pop.
Oh, yeah.
Do.
Yeah.
Shot of Kurt Cobain.
But did he kill himself?
Yeah, did he?
No, Courtney Love.
Courtney Love did it. Arrest her.
I was about to say Courtney Cox did.
Courtney Cox did it. I'll be there for you. When you trying to kill
There's this
yourself.
band I really like called Jukebox the Ghost.
Mhm.
Do like this kind of quirky piano rock kind of stuff.
The name's stupid, but cool.
I like them. And Jawbreaker.
Oh yeah, Jawbreaker.
I have to throw out Jawbreaker. That's the last one I'm gonna say because one of my best friends is the drummer's daughter.
Nice.
So that's how I got into them.
They're gonna be because my best friend
Yeah.
is the drummer snare.
Because a lot of pop punk bands.
What?
There's a lot of pop punk bands that came out of San Francisco, and a lot of them were inspired by Jawbreaker. Like Set Your Goals, I know, like they loved Jawbreaker. I think Story So Far. I think Parker Cannon was really into them. I think those are the only two pop punk bands.
So many SF bands.
The Clash. The list goes on.
Rancid loved Jawbreaker.
You know.
Huge inspiration.
No,
for
the
them.
Rancid only listened to The Clash, and by The Clash, I meant their first album.